Possibly there is no other view so well known as the Bay of Naples, as seen from the top of Cape Posillipo, or many better known than the largest of its 3 islands, Capri. Lying at the southern tip of the bay, 21 miles from the city of Naples, the beautiful scenery and mild climate of Capri have attracted visitors since the days of the Roman emperors, when both Augustus and Tiberius resided here. The remains of the villa of Tiberius still stand on this headland, overlooking the port, and legend suggests that this steep cliff, known as Tiberius Leap, was also the place of summary execution ordered by the emperor. From the heights of Anna Capri can be seen the deep green fringe which borders the island, a phenomenon due to crystalline rocks which form the seabed around the coast. Of the many underground caverns in Capri, the Blue Grotto is the best known and is approached by sea along the steep cliffs on the northern side of the island. Throughout the season, many small boats surround the narrow opening in the rock face, waiting to take visitors into this vast cave, hollowed out by the sea to a depth of 175 feet, and illuminated solely by the remarkably blue iridescence of the water within. The interior of the grotto has been attractively reproduced in the decor of this London restaurant, and by means of an ingenious cyclorama, 2 of the outstanding features of the area, Vesuvius and the bay, have been depicted. It is hard to realize that the tranquil beauty that today surrounds the Bay of Naples has not always presented such a peaceful aspect. One of nature's more violent phenomena has erupted here at intervals since the dawn of the Christian era. On the 24th of August, 79 A.D., Vesuvius erupted and within a day wiped out 2 towns, covering Pompeii with a layer of hot ashes to a depth of 45 feet. For over a century and a half, Pompeii lay buried and forgotten until discovered by chance in the 16th century. Since then, excavations have slowly uncovered approximately 2/3 of the city, an area covering 4 square miles. The ashes that covered Pompeii also effectively preserved it and enable us to see much of the town in its original form. Stepping stones were placed at intervals along the streets to allow the inhabitants to avoid the mud of the road when crossing. They were also arranged so that the wheels of the chariots could easily pass between them. And 2,000 years later, the grooves they wore in the road surface are still visible at the base of the stones. Then, as now, shops line many of the broader thoroughfares, like this wine merchant's. The holes in the counter allowed wine to be drawn from the vats beneath, which could be quickly replaced when empty. A sliding door originally fitted in the groove at the entrance to the shop. Only the heat of the sun has touched these bakers' ovens for the last 19 centuries. Yet one of the last loaves to be baked in them was found intact and is now preserved in the Pompeii Museum. The forces that could cause this havoc and have destroyed 10 towns and over 20,000 people in this vicinity alone were the subject of a book that absorbed me for many hours. This is lava, molten material from over 30 miles within the earth and now solidified. But other materials are also associated with volcanic action, the most common being sulfur, and to a lesser degree pumice, and mercury. These chemicals fertilize the ground to such an extent that vineyards have been established on the volcano's lower slopes and produce several crops a year. This is one of the most interesting excursions from Naples, and one that I was determined not to miss, a trip to Vesuvius. The fertile slopes end within sight of the summit, and a cable railway awaits to carry one over the dead zone, an immense field of old lava, to the crater. From the summit, which has now built itself up to a height of 4,000 feet, the lava zone falls away steeply into the distance, towards Naples, 8 miles distant, and Pompeii, 5 miles away. The rim of the crater has a circumference of 1 mile, and one can look into depths now dormant since the last eruption in 1944. More positive evidence of the volcanic nature of the territory around Naples is to be found in the Phlegrean Fields, an area containing 74 craters within a radius of 7 miles. This depression is an extinct crater typical of many in this area, its walls now overgrown with vegetation, its floor white with volcanic dust. Although now quiescent, any doubts as to its origins are soon dispelled if a hole is made to a depth of 5 or 6 inches. The ground at the bottom of the hole will be found to be hot to the touch, for though seemingly solid, the floor of the crater is actually hollow and is connected, together with other parts of the area, by subterranean channels to the bowels of Vesuvius. Sulfur gases oozing from cracks in the rocks at the mouth of this cave are invisible until cigarette smoke is blown across them, when white whirls will form for yards along the surface. Immediately inside the mouth of the cave, the temperature rises sharply enough to become unbearable. This pit of dancing dust has a temperature lethal enough to reduce a human limb to a skeleton within a few seconds. Here, flame is again being used to render visible the unseen gases escaping from the pit. This unusual aspect of Italy was so different from the conventional tourist picture that it gave me a renewed interest in the places I was going to visit. And when I left London in eager anticipation a few days later, I knew that all I had learned from my friends would enable me to experience much more from the remainder of my European vacation.